Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, March the 13th. Today is National Good Samaritan Day, so get out there and be good. It's also National Earmuff Day, National Open an Umbrella Indoors Day, National Coconut Tort Day, National Canine Veteran Day, National Jewel Day, and National Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day. So all of those things happening. A lot of stuff going on today.
A lot of stuff going on.
Also, I've got Peter Hedges joining me. He's got a new book, not a book, he's got a new movie. He's the writer of the movie, though. He created it. The movie is called Ben is Back. It's a movie that stars his son, actually, and also Julia Roberts. The two of them are in this movie. He created the movie, and he helped put the movie together, and we're going to be chatting with him today. Peter Hedges is our guest for this Wednesday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the Weird Gift of the Day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. A new study found that overweight people are more likely to survive a stroke. That's good news.
Really?
For me. But I think also overweight people are probably more likely to have a stroke as well. So that's not so good. But that's kind of cool. So they're saying there's something about having a little extra weight that helps make it easier to survive the stroke.
Huh.
So that's good. I think, I don't know. I've got a link to that in the show notes if you want to read all about it. Again, it's in the surveys and studies and such section of the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.net.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. A heated disagreement about the late rapper Tupac Shakur ultimately resulted in an arrest and a hospital visit.
Okay.
The fight in question went down in Clearwater, Florida. Says here that there was a disagreement about Tupac, and for whatever reason, it turned into quite a disagreement at about 9:45 in the evening when these people got in a big old fight. Doesn't have any names involved here, but there were people with swollen eyes and large lumps, and everybody was intoxicated. They were too drunk to relay any pertinent information. So when the cops got there, they're like, what's going on? They're like, I don't know. It's about Tupac. Something about Tupac. So they transported these people to the hospital with broken noses and all kinds of bumps and bruises. And everybody was too drunk to know exactly what they were fighting about. But Tupac was involved somehow.
Wow.
There you go. I don't know.
That's got to make their parents proud.
Yeah. So what'd your kids do this weekend? You don't want to know. But that is what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Justin Bieber revealed that he's been struggling lately, feeling, quote, super weird, and asking fans to pray for him. So I wonder what's going on there.
I don't know.
Feeling super weird. So, Biebs, get well, man. Glee star Leah Michelle married fiancé Zandy Reek in a small ceremony in Northern California.
I would just like to say that is one of the worst
That wasn't
programs
Our daughter
have ever
Our daughter
seen.
watched it. And here's the thing. I don't think that it was a bad program. My wife over here didn't like it because we knew all of that music when it was like the original versions. And then they had all these number one hits. They had huge hits with the movie Glee. And it
Made
was all
my
just
ears
remakes
bleed.
of the
It
songs
was
from-
awful.
They beat
But
the Beatles, didn't they?
I don't like musicals of any kind, so
It's not your thing.
no.
No. I thought it was actually, there were some episodes as my daughter was watching, I was kind of watching over her shoulder. I kind of got
I
hooked in a little
couldn't.
bit.
I was like, I can't
see why
watch
people
this.
liked it. I was like, yeah, you watching Glee? Taylor was. She left 20 minutes ago. Oh, yeah. I guess I'm watching
Horrible.
Glee now.
I'm so glad she gave up on that whole
All right.
phase.
That I've got a link to all of that in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s fans.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patti Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at radiotravelgroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now, your scoop of the day, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. Hidden Valley salad dressing. You know that stuff, right? The big white bottle with the green
yeah.
lid.
Yes.
They put a giant 24-foot bottle of ranch dressing on the Las Vegas Strip Sunday. They allowed visitors to fill any item they wanted for free with ranch dressing. You know why?
Why?
It was National Ranch Dressing Day on Sunday.
Okay.
Did we celebrate?
Would you trust whatever
No.
was in this giant bottle and just fill up your
No.
containers?
I'm trying to figure out how they did that, because can you imagine trying to tip a 24-foot bottle into a tiny little...
I'm sure there was a spigot.
There must have been. I don't think I would do that, no.
I wonder how many people took like giant coolers out
Yeah.
there and filled a cooler with ranch.
Excuse me, what do you got there? Just went and bought me a new garbage can. Fill her up, baby. You're the one that said no limit. Okay. We clearly should have seen that
I
coming.
don't know how I'm going to get this through baggage claim, but
Somehow I got to get this back to Connecticut. I don't know. It's a bad idea. TMZ has a new poll that allows you to vote on what certain celebrities will be doing in 5 years. That's a kind of an interesting idea. So they've got a poll where you can go on and say, here's what I think this person will be doing in 5 years. Should we put a poll on our page, on our Facebook page, to see what people think we'll be doing in 5 years? Let's not do that. I doubt that would go well. A new documentary about Beto O'Rourke drew favorite reviews by the South by Southwest Festival in Texas, Austin, Texas. So I guess that turned out well for him. IKEA is now selling their own version of Kama Sutra, and it's called The Ultimate Guide to Bedroom Satisfaction. It's at IKEA. Now, if you've ever read the instructions for anything at IKEA, I'm just saying, this is probably not going to be a bestseller. You ever try to put together IKEA furniture?
oh yes.
Usually, don't we have a bunch of parts left over when it's done?
I don't
Yeah.
know because I follow the instructions.
Wait a minute. Didn't you build our coffee table?
That wasn't from IKEA.
But you followed the instructions, you
I
say?
did follow the instructions. I
Why
got
is-
one piece on backwards.
You got the drawer. There's something you have to glue, so you can't even redo it. And there's like a big gap in one spot. She's like, this is just not very... I don't understand why they would do this. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, you put this piece on backwards.
Just one piece.
Oh, just one piece.
Just the decorative piece that's behind the drawer. It's
Yeah.
just turned around. The white side was supposed to be facing out, and it wasn't. So
My point stands. I'm just saying, a lot of instructions involved. A Virginia woman who won the state lottery 30 times in one day.
what?
Yeah. Here's how, though. She played the same 4 numbers on 30 different tickets. She's taken home $150,000, but I believe she would have done that same thing with just
With
one
just
ticket.
one ticket.
Wouldn't she have?
She would have because she had to split
She
it
could have
40
played
different ways with herself.
29 other combinations. Isn't that how it works? I don't know how that works. But it
Why
was
would
the,
somebody do that?
it was the state lottery. I don't know. I'm just reading what I have here. I've got a link to the story if you want to read all the details. Chinese entrepreneur has disappeared after accusing the country's most powerful judge of corruption. Well, that's not good. Yeah, that could be bad. A young Iranian couple has been arrested after the man proposed marriage in public. Can't do that there.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. Activity at a second North Korean missile site suggests Kim Jong-un is ramping up preparations for a missile launch, so there's people that are worried about that.
You better not.
Jose Canseco is accusing A-Rod of cheating on J-Lo with his ex-wife, with Jose Canseco's ex-wife. That's a lot of going on there. One last story here. A Pennsylvania man claims he discovered a VHS cassette tape that's kids before DVD.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what DVDs are? Before Netflix. I don't know. We'll just go back to the story. It's a video that shows R. Kelly with underage girls, supposedly. A VHS tape. I'm not sure where the guy got it, or I don't know. A lot of weird news today. We're going to move on. We've got much better stuff coming up. I've got Peter Hedges. Before you know it, we'll be chatting with him about the new movie Ben is Back. It's a new movie with Julia Roberts and also Peter Hedges' son. Going to be chatting with him in just a bit on the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have IRS tax problems? Are they keeping you up at night? Afraid to open your own mail or even answer your telephone? If your tax problems are affecting your family life, you need to know you have options. You have rights, and we'll make sure you get them. Call and speak with Mike Habib, the tax expert who will handle your case at 877-78-TAXES or online at myirs.taxrelief.com. That's 877-78-TAXES or myirs.taxrelief.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us today, Peter Hedges, and he is a Hollywood director. You might know him from some of the movies that he's directed, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and many, many others. Peter, how you doing, sir?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now, so we're going to talk a little bit about a project that you've worked on that's kind of close to home, right?
Yes.
Ben is Back for Lionsgate Home Entertainment. Let's talk a little bit about this program.
Sure. Ben is Back is a film starring Julia Roberts, who plays Holly Byrne, and Lucas Hedges, who plays Ben Burns. The story of one family over the course of one day. Ben returns home. He's been living in a sober living facility. He surprises his family and returns Christmas Eve morning. And he isn't supposed to be home. He's supposed to be staying away from the town where he got into lots of trouble. But it's a love story about this remarkable mother who's doing anything and everything she can to help her son stay well.
So now the last name of this actor, Lucas, is the same as your last name. That's your son, right?
Yes, I'm his father. It's true. Lucas is a wonderful actor who's had a fabulous career already. Being in films like Manchester by the Sea and Lady Bird and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And this year he's also in a beautiful film called Boy Erased and Jonah Hill's Mid-90s. And so I wrote this film, and Julia Roberts signed on. But I knew when I wrote it that Lucas was more interested in me being his father than his director. But when Julia read it, and then we met to talk about her doing the film, she wanted Lucas to be in it. And that led, I'll shorten the story, but that led to Lucas and I sitting down and talking about what that might look like if he were to be in the film that I was making. And we figured out a way to work together that was very much a very, really rewarding experience. And so we went off and made Ben is Back.
Again, the movie Ben is Back just recently came out. March 5th is when it was released from Lionsgate Home Entertainment. Now, this movie was based on a story that happens around Christmas time. Is there anything significant about that time of year for the reason this story was when Ben came back?
Well, a great question. Because in the story, Ben, at the start of the story, has 77 days where he has been clean. And part of the key to his recovery is that he has stayed away from people, places, and things that he associates with his drug use, which, so he surprises his family. He feels he's doing well, and he returns home with the hope that he could be home for Christmas, because particularly if Julia Roberts is your mom and you live in the house that they live in, you want to be home for Christmas. Who wants to be far away? And he comes home at that time thinking he's doing well. And probably any other time she would send him back to the sober living facility where he's living, but because it's Christmas and because she wants her family all around her, on that day, she says, what if he just stays for one day and he stays close to my side every moment that he's here, and then we'll get him back safely. And it's part of the point of the film is to look at how hard it is for people who are in recovery to stay on their healthy path, and also how it impacts the disease of addiction, how it impacts everyone in the family.
Again, our guest today is Peter Hedges. The movie is called Ben is Back, and it's out right now. It's just recently came out on the 5th of March. Now, this movie was something that you had a chance to do the writing of the movie, and it was done in a pretty quick amount of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes. I started thinking about the film years ago after I lost a close friend and my favorite actor ever overdosed and died all around the same time. So I began a period of intense research, which went on for a number of years. But the actual writing of the script was very fast. Once I understood that it was about this one family over the course of this one day, the script almost wrote itself. So it felt like it was a story that just came out of me.
Do you have that happen quite often when you're writing, where you sit down and it just kind of leads the way, or is that very unusual?
No, this was unusual. I've been writing 36 years. I think it's happened one other time like this where I felt possessed. I always feel passionate and always putting forth my best effort, but in this case, this one seemed to write itself. That doesn't mean I didn't do rewrites and interrogate the script the way one should interrogate anything they write to try to make it the best version of itself. But no, it felt like it was meant to be. It was a story that needed to be told, and I was given the privilege of telling it. And then of course Julia Roberts, to my great surprise, we sent it to her, and she read it right away and agreed right away to do the film. And I knew enough about her. I didn't know her. I'd met her a few times, but I didn't know her well. I knew that she only left her family one time in a 14-year period to go work, to leave her family for any extended period of time. And so I kind of felt like there was no chance we'd get her to come east in the middle of winter to shoot this movie. But when she read it, she related to the story, and she felt that it was a project she just had to be a part of. So that accelerated the making of the film too, because she had a window around Christmas and January of last year. That was her window, and next thing I knew, we were off and running.
Again, the movie is called Ben is Back, starring Julia Roberts and Lucas Hedges. It's courtesy of Roadside Attractions and also courtesy of Lionsgate Home Entertainment. It just recently came out, March 5th. Our guest today has been the director and the writer, Peter Hedges. Peter, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us.
Thank you. Had a great time talking.
Again, the movie Ben is Back is out now. I'm going to throw a link in our show notes, all of the details. You'll find that at johnandheidishow.com.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Did you know that when a male lion takes over a tribe, he kills all the cubs? I didn't know that. It says, we may imagine lions as noble creatures, but when they can be plenty brutal too. Live Science explains when a male lion takes over new territory, they almost always kill the pride's cubs since they are not biologically related and do not want to spend energy ensuring that all the other lions' genes will be passed on. So,
well then.
That is just a bizarre... I didn't know that. I guess, how would I have known that? But now I know, and I don't think it's a fun fact. It's kind of a weird fact. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert, May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s fans.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patty Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at radiotravelgroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now, fear this. Heidi, it's fun with phobias. Brontophobia. Brontophobia. Brontophobia.
Fear of dinosaurs.
No, that makes sense, though, because you're like a Brontosaurus Rex, but... Brontosaurus. I don't think it's a Brontosaurus
I don't think
Rex.
it's a Brontosaurus Rex.
It's a whole... I just invented a dinosaur. No, it's the fear of thunder and lightning. What?
Oh.
Brontosaurus?
Yeah, I don't know where that...
Brontophobia? Brontophobia, fear of thunder and lightning?
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
I'm afraid of being wrong, and I think I have been. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at weirdgiftoftheday.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the weird gift of the day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. weirdgiftoftheday.com. That's weirdgiftoftheday.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com. A drive-through customer enraged by apparently not having enough meat on his Mexican pizza stormed a Taco Bell in South Carolina, walked into the kitchen area, and made his own food.
They make pizza at Taco Bell?
Apparently. I didn't know that either. According to the police, he walked into the Spartansburg Taco Bell, said there wasn't enough meat on my Mexican pizza, and then remade the food. It was a lady. She remade this. No?
So...
no, it was a man.
I'm assuming that was bad. Was this person arrested?
So there was a female employee, and it was a male that said that. She was the one that remade the food. He was equally displeased with how she made it, so that is when he said, I'm just going to do it myself. So he walked behind the counter, went in and began making his own food. They noted that he did not follow proper safety guidelines, was not wearing protective gloves while making his food. Police retrieved a video, and they're trying to track this dude down. It is a possible misdemeanor, larceny, and trespass charges. So there you go. Don't go back in the kitchen and make your own food.
No, you don't do that.
You don't do
if you
that.
want to make your own food, stay home.
Yeah, that's a good idea. This guy probably should. Thanks for listening to Weird News on the John and Heidi Show. Now your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. A St. Paul mother and her daughter were upset about their wings. This is the second weird food story of the day.
Why on earth?
We've had more and more of these. Well, this one's really interesting. They were so upset, they went to the Domino's where they got the stuff with a handgun. Yeah. This 59-year-old Holly Joel Robinson and her daughter that's 20, both of whom should have known better, got to go to jail for a while over this for making terroristic threats.
Yeah, and rightly
They called
so.
Domino's Pizza at 9 p.m., and they were really upset and ended up going in to the Domino's with this gun. They were upset that their wings had not been delivered when their pizza was delivered. This argument ensued, and they showed up with a gun, and I don't know, a loaded 9mm handgun was found in the car. They both got to go to jail for a while over this deal. So nobody was hurt, thank goodness. Wow, that is your moment of duh.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, these three things. Heidi, tell me, what do these three things have in common? Tom Cruise, Michael Jordan, Alpha Centauri.
I don't have any idea.
They're all stars. That's kind of a stretch. Alpha Centauri is a star.
It's a star in the sky. Okay.
And, all of those could be stars in the sky because somebody might have named a star after the other people. So,
wow.
Remember that? You could name it.
Yeah.
If somebody did that for you, would you be excited? Would you
not even a little.
Oh, well, there goes my anniversary gift for you. All right. That's these three things. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news, and it comes your way courtesy of radiotravelgroup.com. I got to apologize, by the way. I said the website wrong like 3 different times now. I was saying club instead of group. So if you went to the wrong website, I apologize. That was my fault, not their fault. It's radiotravelgroup.com, not what I said before. Anyway, this man taught himself to play a trumpet for one reason and one reason only, so he could play taps at funerals.
Isn't that great?
That is, I think,
I
awesome.
love that people do that.
It's never too late to learn, by the way. And there's, sadly, a small number of people who play the trumpet. There's just not enough people. And Gary Marquardt, who, by the way, was 66 years old, decided, I am going to learn to play the trumpet. Why? Because he was a youngster and enlisted in the military and went to the Vietnam War and then was unable to serve because of a bleeding ulcer. So he said this is his atonement for his guilt for not being able to serve. He's now going and playing at funerals for soldiers all over the place. And he taught himself, he learned, I shouldn't say taught himself, but learned to play the trumpet, something that meant a lot to him. And I think that's really kind of a neat thing. For the last 5 years, he's played taps from the balcony of his home, still visits cemeteries almost every day in order to play taps for military graves, regularly volunteers for a thing called Bugles Across America.
That is such a great story.
It really is. This. I've got it's a cool story. It's good news. I just think it's great news.
Very good news.
He's about to turn 70 years old, and he has no intention of stopping his labor of love. I've got a link to this story in the show notes if you want to read all about it. Bugles Across America. There's a link in there in that story about that. I have to click on there and see what that is. That's a neat idea.
Very cool.
If you ever come across good news that you think would be something just really worth sharing, you can certainly reach out to us, and that would be wonderful if you do that. I've got a link to all this stuff. You can do it all through the same site, johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show.